Natalie, hi.
Hey Scotty, how are you?
I am good. I am really good. In fact, so good you can hear that I've been overdoing it maybe a little bit. I caught a little bit of a cold and have a hoarse voice, so I apologize. I'll try to speak clearly as we chat today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just came back from a drive with VW right now.
VW, what were you
Yes.
driving?
I love Volkswagen. I had a great time traversing the big sky up in Bozeman, Montana with the VW Tiguan and
The
getting that
T?
redesign.
Yeah, so that's quite a redesign. What struck you most about the VW Tiguan?
Well, there's a couple of things, but one of the things I loved the most was that they had renewable materials inside in some of their trims. And that was really interesting. I didn't know you could make bamboo into a fabric.
Yeah, so that's an interesting segue into our conversation this week, renewable materials. Um, Not only are new renewables and recyclables a big thing, but they're popular, but they also have a really great impact on how we think and how we design and how the overall impact of the vehicle and reducing a car's footprint overall from the beginning of its life to the end of its life, from how it's designed, how they start to think about it, how it's designed, how it's built, how it lives its life, and where it goes afterwards. All of that is a pretty big thought process and something that we're seeing a lot more of in vehicles. And you know what's interesting with the Tiguan is it also illustrates how um, the definition of luxury is changing. Would you consider the Tiguan a luxury car?
I consider it a luxury with an attainable budget. And I think that's an amazing offering now because, with pricing in cars, it's crazy. And you want to find what can I get at my budget, but something that's also, eco-friendly, right? Or that's going to last me a while, but with some cool premium features I didn't know I could get at that budget.
Well, there certainly are things in the Tiguan that I would not have thought you could get at
Right.
a car that's not a luxury car. Things like head-up display and leather interior, and I don't know, there's a lot in there. I can't wait to read your review because I know that they've really put some nice things in that car. But it's really changing. The definition of luxury has become much more democratized, I think, so that you can buy. It's harder to buy a luxury car with fewer features at an affordable price,
Right.
and it's easier to buy a popular or a value car that does have luxury features at an affordable price. You're going to buy at the end the high end of the value brand versus the low end of the luxury brand. And I think when you start to compare them feature for feature, you might find that that value brand delivers more for the price than the luxury brand does at the entry level. I mean, it depends on the car you're talking about, but it's a pretty interesting comparison and something that we've seen a lot more of lately.
Yes, and especially with the EX90, I'm very curious, and there's some exciting news around that.
Yeah, so the Volvo EX90 just won the World Luxury Car of the Year award at the World Car Awards at the New York Auto Show. And it was up against two Porsches. It was up against the
Wow.
Porsche Macan and the Porsche Panamera. And it won over both of those for World Luxury Car, which is pretty amazing.
Wow,
And
yeah.
I think one of the even more amazing things is all of the renewable materials and all of the new thinking, the very minimalist interior. It really shows that not only where we're going in terms of design, but where we're going in terms of how we think about our design. And it's no longer just, what's the softest leather you can get, but it's what's the most resilient materials you can get. And how do you take those materials and turn them into something that's even more beautiful than you could have imagined? Which is what we talked with the designer of the World Luxury Car of the Year, the Volvo EX90, what we talked about with her, Lisa Reeves. So, shall we go to the interview?
Sounds good. Let's take a listen.
All right, here's our conversation with Lisa Reeves. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
It's so good to meet you. It's so good to be here with you in the interior of the Volvo XC90, which is your baby. Congratulations. So you are head of design, interior design for Volvo.
That's right.
Across the board, all the Volvos that we know and love. She's the lady in charge of the interiors. So let's talk quickly about the interior of the XC90. You developed this with a fresh approach to not only the interior but the materials. Tell me about this beautiful leather that we're sitting on, or is it leather?
It is not. It is called Nordico. It's a material that is bio-based, so it has pine oil in it from Scandinavian forests, and it's also recycled polymers. We've developed this in-house ourselves and worked with the ingredients all the way to get it to the right suppleness, softness, and working with the texture. So yeah, we're really proud of it, and it's very easy material to live with as well.
So that's not the only renewable, sustainable material in the interior of the Volvo XC90, is it?
No.
What else is renewable and sustainable?
Yeah, so we have all the headlining pillars, recycled polyester. We have the carpets in regenerated polyamide yarn. We also have wool blend seat option, so that's 30% traceable wool with animal welfare combined with 100% recycled polyester. And then we're working all the time with our materials on the metals, so aluminium and steel with recycled content and recycled plastics as well.
Wow.
With an intent to be able to reuse materials. We're on a journey.
And so, and the chrome that you're using is also not actually chrome.
It's a chrome-free, chrome-like finish. It's more sustainable, and we're also developing all the time new materials and looking for new ways to do detailing within the main surface as well. So, yeah.
Tell me about the wood paneling that I see here. There's beautiful wood paneling on the front dash. I see it on the door panels.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, we are very inspired by natural materials, and wood here is one of them. So this is a birch wood, real birch, and we have ash as well. It's a thin layer of wood, and the beauty of working with this is because we work with honest materials, so we're really learning the properties and where its limitations are in terms of shape for it. It's a thin layer of wood, and behind it is a light panel. So in the daylight you get natural wood grain finish, and then when it gets dark outside, this beautiful pattern shines through the wood, and it's seamlessly integrated in the car to give an ambient warmth.
Is incredible. Yeah. That's incredible. I'm going to check that out tonight. I'm going to see that in the dark before I leave my time with the XC90. So one of the things that I noticed during my test drive today was this really unique approach to visibility. So there is a very large center screen. There also is a driver display that's tiny compared to like some of these big like 10, 12, 14-inch driver displays.
Yeah.
Tell me about your approach to the steering wheel and the driver display and the head-up display.
Yeah, sure. So we have a large portrait center screen that's 14.5 inches, and we've redesigned the system in terms of the graphic design and the features. So it's very intuitive. You know where to go for navigation, media. You've got audio controls at the bottom that always stay there. And then we have a driver display on the shroud with the steering wheel. So whenever you move the steering wheel, you're looking through the steering wheel and it will follow. So you get good vision to it. And on that one, you can choose toggle between if you want to have map or a COM display, or to see the traffic around you, because the car can see all the lanes and the cars around. And then we complement with the head-up display, which is speed and a simple navigation. The point is that these three displays all work together. We want calm complexity. We don't want to overload the user with too much information. We want them to have the right information at the right time. And that's how these systems work together. And you've also got a contextual bar, which is my favorite new feature. where the car puts the most recent functions on there. So if you use something regularly, it's always going to be there because the car knows.
So that's
that
where I
you
saw like
it.
Spotify and maps and
exactly.
Okay.
And then
all right.
if the car's at standstill, the 360 camera will come up because it knows you're at standstill and maybe you want it. So it's really fun that the car learns with you as well over time.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And there is one button in this entire car. The
audio control.
the audio control.
It's actually a few buttons in one.
Oh, yes, it is. Right,
So
right. But it is like one
it
thing.
is, yeah.
It was the only one I found.
Yeah.
It was so novel. What does it do, that one button on the console?
So you press the middle of it and it's play pause for the audio. You can turn it for volume and then you can nudge it side to side, which is for skip functions.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really pretty too. What's that material inside of it?
It's a 3D print, so it's direct from the printer. 3D printed disc, which is...
It's really cool looking. It's very cool looking. How did you get into automotive?
Yeah, so I went to university to study car design.
Why did you study car design?
So growing up, my father was a car enthusiast. He loved all sorts of cars and sporting events. So I inherited that passion, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what was your first car?
My first car was a Ford Fiesta.
A Ford Fiesta.
Yeah.
I'm going to where are you from?
I'm from England,
England.
Gloucestershire.
And where did you go to school?
Coventry in the Midlands. Yeah.
Okay. And so I'll tell you this, and you're going to laugh. My first car was an MG Midget. And that taught me that I wanted a car that was going to be reliable and easy to drive. It was fine. It was fun to drive, but it would break down constantly. Yeah. And I learned that I did not love having a broken down car all the time.
Yeah, that's smart.
A Ford Fiesta, that's fun.
Yeah.
Have you ever driven competitively or like track driving and that kind of thing? Did you do that too?
Oh, I've done also. I've done some hill climbs in muddy fields where you have to get as far as you can up the flags.
Mm-hmm.
I've done expedition, driving in a convoy from Kazakhstan through to Vietnam.
Oh my God!
I love all kinds of driving. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. And so, when you graduated from college, what was your first job in automotive?
I worked for Jaguar Land Rover as a 3D CAD modeler in design.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get to Volvo? How long were you at JLR?
For about 3 years.
3 years. And then was Volvo your next job?
No, then I went to Bentley, working on Bentley and Bugatti.
Okay. So I'm going to say, like, some pieces are starting to fall into place. When you look at the interior of the Volvo, you think, maybe I do see some Bentley in here. Would you say that, or no?
No, I don't think so.
Even some of the, like, more aspirational materials and...
No, I think, as a premium brand, fit, finish, quality, good, honest, like, materials, working with those. But I think our EX90 is really Scandinavian in terms of its real calm, purity, sort of understated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so what brought you to Volvo? How did they snag you?
I was offered a position to come to Volvo, and I just felt at the time as well, the time was right. I was really open for the opportunity, adventure in life, but also
She drives up like the world's tallest hills, so adventure is a must.
Yeah. I also had a bit of a sweet spot because I grew up with 3 Volvo wagons within the family. And one of them lasted like 30 years. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was very familiar with the brand and the values as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so so you've been working on this probably for, 5 years or so on the EX90?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what has been, outside of the EX90, what's been the most fun thing that you've done at Volvo?
I think last year was just amazing. I traveled a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I got to meet a lot of the global teams. doing presentations, all different kinds of presentations. So it was really good job variety, talking about all the cars that we've got in the pipeline. And yeah, it was brilliant because it sort of really, I got a lot of learning from the networking, but it also really pushed me personally and in my skills. And yeah, I was able to just talk around the design and what the great team back in Sweden are working on. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And so, what do you think's next for you in your career? Continuing here for a while, maybe teaching, or where do you see yourself going next?
I really enjoy my work. I have a great team. They're amazing. I love the connections across the business. With the other experts as well, learning from them all the time. I feel there's always learning you can do on this job, and the industry is so transforming at a fast pace, and across markets, that I think there's always stuff, innovation to be made. And so I feel it's actually a really exciting time in the industry, but also for interior design as well. Where there's more features, more technology, maybe more use of space of the car, transitioning space. So yeah, I'm really pretty happy.
So what do you learn from younger people who you hire into your team? What kind of things do they bring to you that you think, oh, I hadn't thought of that, or that is exactly what we're looking for?
They bring real multi-skill, really multi-talent. They're very digital. But also I think it's really healthy to have people come with pure ideas from the heart, where maybe they don't understand the technical knowledge, or they haven't had the learning, because the ideas are more pure. And then it's always our job to help to make that, realize that idea, and find a way to do new things. So yeah, I think they generally come with great creativity and very multi-skilled.
And what advice do you have for them when...
I think I would say just keep pushing it and follow your dream. I think as well in the job, there's a lot of ideas that don't make it, and it can be quite disheartening at times. So I think build a resilience and just keep pushing it. Yeah.
So you're a mom.
Yeah.
You have 2 kids.
I do, yeah.
How old are they?
10 and 7.
Boys, girls?
A girl and a boy.
A girl and a boy. And so you travel a lot. That's a hard thing for a mom to do. I get it. I have kids.
Not always, but sometimes more than others.
Yeah. And so what do you want your kids to take away from your career?
Well, I mean, I really want them to be who they are. And I love to kind of understand kind of what they enjoy and how to be a part of that. I think, I mean, they experience that I work hard and everything, but I think when we went on the last launch, I was lucky enough to have them visit, and my daughter opened the door of the EX30 at the time and just said, wow. And I was like, right there, that's I couldn't have wanted a better response. And I let my son get in the back and find the moose for the first time, and I filmed it. And just those moments, seeing their faces, and I think that was perfect.
Do they like cars?
They do. I don't think they're at the age yet where they really have as much passion for cars as I, but my daughter's definitely very crafty. She loves all the crafts and to draw and so on. And my son's very much brand aware of which cars are which. So
good.
We'll see.
Now, which one is older?
The girl.
Your daughter's older. So your son is 7.
Yeah.
And he's already starting to recognize nameplates and probably some tail lights. And that kind of, do you think that boys are more like wired to like cars?
I do, yeah. They really are.
Yeah, I think so too. It took me some learning to really learn to appreciate the details of cars and the technology and what goes into it, and people like you, and to understand that there are people who said, we need USB ports here, and we need cup holders here, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what do you drive?
I drive a V60, and I'm soon to get XC40 Recharge.
Ooh,
Yeah. And then
that's
I'd
nice.
like to, well, I'm on the company cars.
Yeah.
I'd like to get the X30 soon as well.
Yeah, I like the EX30.
Yeah.
That's actually one of my favorite cars. For its SUV just for you, that's all electric and really fun to drive.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And tell me, so you've just spent 5 years working on this car. What's your favorite thing about the EX90?
I am really proud of how elegant and pure the architecture is, because it organizes the space in the car.
Mm-hmm.
It works with the proportions. It does so many things, and it helps to celebrate the materials. As a little quirky thing, I'm quite proud of the tailgate will it fit graphic, because I think that is just a little bit of humor, but also...
What's the will it fit graphic?
So if we open the tailgate, on
Mhm.
the top of the tailgate, it says, will it fit? There's a few key dimensions. So if you go to IKEA, of course, and you want to get a package, and you don't know if it will fit in the car, you have some indication to know before you go buy it. So it's a little bit helpful, but it's also just a little bit of humor and a thoughtful detail. And I like it when design is not just design, but it has a real sort of thoughtfulness behind it.
Mm-hmm. Thinking about the humans that are going to use it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I get in the third row, and the first thing I look for is air vents.
Yeah.
If there's no air vents, then I'm like, wouldn't put people back here. So luckily there's air vents. So, well, Lisa, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me.
Yeah, thank you.
And by the way, congratulations on your nomination to the World Car Awards Person of the Year last year. That's quite a prestigious list. I hope to see you on it again.
That was
at
such
some
an honor.
point.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It's amazing. And it's also amazing to see women, because there's so few women rising to top levels in automotive. One last question. So if you're a woman who wants a career in automotive, and what piece of advice would you give someone who's looking for a job in automotive? I mean, it's a tough world for women.
Yeah, I would say just keep working it, and
Don't give up.
don't give up, and encourage each other. I think that's
That's
one.
good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
really encourage each other.
Yeah.
And I think what I like about Volvo is the speak up culture, where they appreciate
Ooh.
that, and I think that that's important, because otherwise perhaps it can be more intimidating as an environment. So do you feel that you should speak up and just encourage each other and grow resilience, and just keep doing it,
Keep doing
yeah.
it. Keep doing it. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you.
I loved speaking with her. That was not the first time I got to speak with her, a couple of times. And I think the thing that strikes me about Lisa is that she has a very traditional education, and she comes across at first as being like kind of a rote designer or a rote automotive person, kind of doing things the traditional way. But then you see what she comes up with, and there's nothing that you've expected or seen before in her work.
It's amazing. Like, what's life like inside of the Volvo EX90?
Well, it's surprising, because if you didn't know that those materials were made from renewable materials, that the leather had pine sap in it to make it a little more pliable and add some color, if you didn't know that things were sourced from the Nordic forest, if you didn't know that the soft fabrics were reclaimed denims and reclaimed fibers, if you didn't know that, you would never figure that out. It doesn't look or feel like renewables at all. And sometimes they'll tell you something that's a renewable material, and you go, okay, I get the recycled plastic bottles. I get that, because I can kind of feel that plasticky surface, or that plastic tactile feeling that you might feel in like any other kind of formed plastic surface. And everything that Volvo's done is so fresh, and it does not feel like that at all. Now, does it feel like leatherette? Yeah, it doesn't feel exactly like leather. There's something about leather that does have pores and it breathes, and that's something that I feel like you feel over time. But these materials are I didn't feel it at all, and I love the colors. I love the palette that they work with, and just the layering, the paletting and the layering of materials is it's just so well done. It's easy to see why they won World Luxury Car.
It definitely takes a certain level of intelligence for sure to create that minimalism and luxury feel, especially with renewable materials. So I think that's amazing. Good job, Lisa.
Yes, I'm so excited for her to hear that Volvo won this award. I'm sure really went to her heart because that was her baby, and
Oh,
yeah, it really was. All right, thank you so much, Natalie, for joining me for this chat. And thank you so much to our team, Natalie as a producer, and Steph Howard, who is our editor. Music is by Envato Elements. You can find more on our podcast channel here on Spotify and Apple, anywhere that you get your podcasts. And you'll also find them on our podcast tab over at A Girl's Guide to Cars. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
thank you.